Three, two, one. Welcome to Crypto Capital Venture.
Yes. What's up, everybody? Dan here. Andrew.
That's right.
Dude, first off, I just gotta keep it real. E-currency hodler, many of you know, on Twitter, the School of Litecoin, right? The
Litecoin School of Crypto.
Litecoin School of Crypto on YouTube. Months and months in the making. He's come on the channel many times. We've hung out with him. You've all seen his little snoovatar, right?
Yeah.
And I'll pop it on the screen right there. And so outside of just who he is and his brilliant mind and what he's working on and his awesome content that he puts out there, his podcasts, over the months he's become an awesome friend. He's just an awesome individual and a really good illustration of the people that are building in this space. So I just want to start with that. But yeah, besides the fact that a lot of people are very excited because I mean, there's your face, there's his face. That's e-currency hodler.
This is what I look like.
It's surreal. So I guess if you could, man, just kind of a little intro into who you are, maybe your background a little bit, and how you got into cryptocurrency.
Yeah, so I bought Bitcoin in 2014, and then I thought like it bottomed out around like 800, and then it dropped to 400 because of Mt. Gox, and then so like I cried, and I just like cried in a corner, and just I was so devastated. But then I was like so stubborn, I refused to sell. Like I was like, I cannot sell at a loss. And so I literally just kind of tucked it away, forgot about it. And then I think in 2017, the very beginning of it, like it hit $1,000, and I was like, crap, it's coming back and it's gonna crash. So I sold everything. And then of course Bitcoin goes to 20,000. So that's my luck. But after I sold Bitcoin, I kind of started looking into like Litecoin and Ethereum and things like that. And then I remember reading Charlie's paper in 2017 about how his vision for Litecoin. And then I remember like how Litecoin activated SegWit. And then I was like, I became a believer because he had so much foresight to kind of see the ecosystem develop from SegWit to the Lightning Network and atomic swaps. I was like, I can see it. And so I started getting really heavily involved in the Litecoin community. Started the Light School because I just felt like Bitcoin documentation was good, or articles, explanations were good. Ethereum was out there. There wasn't anything for Litecoin, and so just wanted to provide something for the community.
Definitely. Now, did you start the Light School before you were like part of the foundation, before you even knew Charlie? Did you
Absolutely.
Start that? Did
yeah.
You? Okay.
That was just like a self-started project. I never really expected it to go anywhere. To me, it was just more of like, I'm writing these articles because it's kind of how I learn. And I also saw that like, people were, when I posted these articles on the subreddit, people really seemed to enjoy it. And so I just kind of kept pumping out articles because I felt like, the more people who know about crypto, the faster adoption will come.
Heck yeah. And I think like when I live streamed with Charlie briefly yesterday, and it's one of the things we were talking about was how do people get involved?
Yeah.
And that's literally exactly it right there. You started the Light School to educate, right? Mm-hmm. And I know you always say, I think it's right on your Twitter too, you write to learn, right?
Yeah.
So is that a big like entry point for you in terms of how you did learn about crypto? Was it just kind of just writing and kind of educating yourself first by writing? Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah. So wait, really quickly about the whole voluntary thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people want permission. They want permission from the foundation to start their own Litecoin project, or they want support. I'm like, dude, just go out there and build it and do it yourself. Like, if you really think Litecoin is decentralized, just start it yourself. Even like for you and your YouTube channel, like you came in like 2018, or later 2017. Yeah. You started the YouTube channel, and look at where you're at now, right? Yeah. Like you're like a pretty prominent Litecoin figure. And so it's just, honestly, it's just get passionate, go build stuff, and help the community grow. Like you don't need permission. It's a permissionless community.
You do not need permission. And somebody actually, came up to me earlier and they were asking how to get into the cryptocurrency space because they know I'm a crypto recruiter. Mm-hmm. And I told them very honestly, I was like, a year ago at this time, I didn't have a YouTube channel, right? And I wasn't volunteering for the Litecoin Foundation. And like, I kind of asked myself that same question, how can I really get into cryptocurrency space? And then I just started doing stuff that just came to my mind, right? Yeah. And I think that's like the biggest point that I think could come out of this summit in terms of the adoption piece, which is like, it's a blank canvas, right?
We're so early.
It's crazy.
You can do anything.
Yeah, anything. And speaking of that, you're doing some things.
I am.
You are.
Yeah. Wait, okay, so should I talk about the writing thing real quick?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and then we'll talk about that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so yeah, I write to learn, and in order for me to effectively communicate, I have to understand the concept well, right? I can only distill like the concepts and the thoughts only if I like really comprehend what I'm reading. And to be honest, like a lot of the articles and documentations out there, it's like really high level, like really heady stuff. And honestly, I don't have any technical background. I don't have, I never did coding. I'm not a cryptographer, but I just read. I read articles, I read the concepts, and I try to understand it. And one of the ways it solidifies in my mind is if I can write it out and structure it. And so that's one of the reasons why I write articles for the Light School.
Cool. I was going to ask you that. You have no like technical background really. Because that's what I mean, one of the things that impresses me the most with you is how well spoken you are about the technology. And it literally is just you, not because you're technical, it's just from learning. It's
just from reading.
Which,
just putting in the work.
Yeah, but I mean, you're a smart guy though.
I appreciate it.
Because I do not feel like, even if I sat down and studied, because I'm just like, I'm a terrible reader, I'm terrible at memorizing things. It takes a long time for me to grasp certain technical concepts. So like, I think you really have a huge amount of knowledge in terms of the space, and you know, that's a talent in of itself, I think.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I think education is freedom. So, and information is out there. That's why we have the internet. And yeah, I just want to learn as much as I can, as fast as I can, so that I can do as much as I can.
Yeah, man. And I think the learning pivoted you. I mean, actually, so we live streamed this a little bit ago, but you were just on stage talking about your startup CoinMed or BlockFuse.
Yeah.
A year ago, 2 years ago, I always like asking this question, like, would you have pictured yourself here right now doing something like that?
No way.
Right?
That's the beauty of this space, and just getting involved and, you know, contributing and bringing value to the community. Like, it's been every single step of the way. I've just never expected it, right? Like, I started out with Reddit posts, and then just kind of started doing Medium articles, and then a publication, and then eventually, you know, with BlockFuse. And every step of the way, it was just kind of like, there was no planning behind it. There was no strategy. It's just meeting the right people, having the right opportunities, and yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah. So you saw the blank canvas and you just started writing on it.
Yeah.
Right?
That's so beautiful.
Right?
That's so poetic.
I try and be poetic. I like poetry.
This guy.
So BlockFuse, I mean, tell us a little bit. I mean, BlockFuse, it really is intriguing to me. I think it's cool that like you're a friend of mine, and like we've gotten to know each other. That's not like why I like the project. There's so many projects, right? But I really like what you're doing because, first of all, it's easy to understand what you're doing, which is important for non-technical minds like myself. And then second of all, my ambitions in the space and the ideas I have, your platform, I feel like are going to really be a doorway for me to implement some ideas I have.
We can make it easier for you.
Exactly. So I guess just tell us about BlockFuse and CoinMesh and kind of what it does.
Yeah, BlockFuse, our mission is to enable use cases on Litecoin and Bitcoin. And so we do that through our open source platform called CoinMesh. And CoinMesh is it's an integrated development environment. And what it does, it just automates Litecoin and Bitcoin nodes and adapter layers so that if you're a developer, you can go straight to building out your project. And so that might be a little hard to kind of conceptualize, right? Basically, you download CoinMesh on your hardware, on your computer, and then it pops up a UI, and you use that UI to select Litecoin or Bitcoin node or LND node, and then from there, it'll create like a skeleton for you for your project, and then you just start coding out the rest of your project. And we just want to take out the difficult part, which is finding the right documentation, finding like the most recent sources, and finding the right tools. We want to just remove all of that issue, and we want to put forth like the industry best standard and make it super accessible just through our IDE.
Yeah, definitely. So part of like usability for your platform, I know on your presentation you talked about a couple gaming type of applications, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what other use case scenarios would you have? Like, what other types of niche ideas could you utilize it for?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, and so because we're so early, I think like we need people to be really creative. In the talk, I talked about different characteristics of Litecoin that can be utilized. Payment finality in a couple of minutes. That's something you don't have with Visa. Like it takes 3 days for somebody to receive the US dollar if you're a merchant and you're using Visa. With Litecoin, you get it in 2.5 minutes, and then you can take that Litecoin and spend it like to pay for your domain hosting services or for your VPN or whatever, right? And so I think that's a really powerful concept that people can leverage within their platform. Crypto monsters.world, they're pretty unique because what they do is they take an algorithm and then they take the most recent Litecoin block hash header, and then they combine that and probabilistically determine who's going to win in a fight amongst monsters, right? And so it's just so like,
Awesome.
it's so creative, like how people are using aspects of Litecoin for the platform. And for me, I wouldn't necessarily say for these applications right now there's like an absolute need for them, but I think the more we get people to build on sound money, the better the world will be, right? Because you're teaching people to spend what you have, and you're not relying on credit or debt or loans, and you're not encouraging people to buy things that they really can't afford, like with fake money. Like credit, debt, loans is fake money.
True.
And so, what kind of applications? So one of the things that you can use is a multi-sig wallet, and you can create like a blackjack or a casino where you deposit your Litecoin into the platform, but you as a platform also own ownership of that Litecoin address. So it's a multi-sig wallet, right? And so in that way, you're not completely trusting or giving away your funds to the casino, but you hold ownership and access of those funds as well. And you can do it in such a way that like if I win on blackjack, if I hit a 21, then you can automate Litecoin being sent to that node instantly and withdrawing. And so it's like, it's more decentralized, you're less trusting servers or people with your money, and you have more ownership in that aspect.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
And CoinMesh is a doorway to that.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys are on IRC or anything, but like there's this guy named Poopster, and he said he might build like a blackjack service thing for Litecoin. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
That'd be awesome. So it's got to be like incredibly exciting to see developers begin using CoinMesh, right?
Yeah.
Like, what's that feeling like? It's got to be pretty cool.
It's pretty cool, especially when people are using your product and then building tooling services and knowing that whatever tools that they are building can be easily shared with anybody else.
Yeah.
And so as like our platform is free, like we're not charging anything for you to download CoinMesh. And so as you build tools, it's building the Litecoin ecosystem indirectly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like super exciting because the dev tooling services can be better for Litecoin, quite frankly. Yeah.
Of course, definitely. I know, I know I'm not going to talk about it here, but I already started running some ideas to you on the Slack channel a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's something we got to get to, man.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to that. And I know Nick, he's trying to brainstorm some ways to use it as well. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and so like his idea is like Litecoin tipping for Twitch streams or YouTube streams, and so I like it. Like that's what you can use CoinMesh for.
Yeah, it's crazy, which is so big. That's such a big market right there if you can make that happen. So
yeah.
So obviously myself, and this is more just like a laid back type of question. How has it been for you in terms of like the social networking side of crypto? Like what's that journey been like for you, especially coming from like nobody knew who you were, so now you're here, now you're experiencing meeting people face to face, which is like ridiculous. I think it's really exciting, but I'm very intrigued with the social networking side of this space. So I mean, what's it been like for you?
Do you want me to talk about like how it's like not being pseudonymous, or like the networking as like a pseudonymous person?
Well, first I like it how it's first talk about how it's been for you going from being pseudonymous to now.
Right.
And then I guess just in general, if you can just speak to.
It's been interesting because not knowing my background, not knowing my face, what I look like, what my name sounds like, I feel like has given me a lot of freedom. It's the most meritocratic environment that I've been on, and the fact that like my Reddit posts were liked and people really visit my articles a lot, it was just really validating to me that people saw my words, saw my work, and they appreciated it. And so that was like a unique experiment for me and a unique time in my life where I think a lot of times people judge you by how you look, what you sound like, and this was one of those times where it was just very special. Like people were able to judge me by the merit of my work, and it was appreciated, and that was like very meaningful for me.
I could imagine, man. And actually, as you're talking, I bet you like celebrities sometimes probably do that on social media. I bet you they have like these fake aliases that they just kind of they want to be like a just unknown person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely know, I can see the freedom in doing that. And then I guess when you talk to me, because I'm just personally curious. Talk to me about when you were like, I'm not going to be e-currency hodler anymore, which you still are.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to put your face out there. Like, talk to me about like what was that like?
Yeah, it's kind of scary. So another reason why I wanted to do this was because of OPSEC, right? Like I don't want people to know like I'm involved with Litecoin. I don't like it's nice walking down the street not having people being like, oh you're Dan and like take a photo with me, and so that's kind of like I kind of catastrophize that type of situation, like the worst case scenario. And so I'm more conscientious of stuff like that. But also it's been like really cool. One of the reasons why I had to give up my pseudonymity is because people won't do businesses with Snoop avatars.
True.
Right? They won't. And so it was just kind of like either I start BlockFuse, I start like getting jobs or whatever, payments, and giving up my identity, or I just forever this like I'm just like plateauing at just like writing articles. You know? And so that was one of the big reasons why I decided to give up my anonymity. And but like it's been cool coming to this summit and meeting people like you and like other people. We were kind of talking about this like when you met the East Coast team for the 30 for 30 with John Kim.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, was that like weird for you?
That's right.
And you're like, nah, it was just totally normal. And it's been such a cool experience, like meeting you, like hugging it out with like other people from the Litecoin family, and it feels like we've known each other for a long time.
Right, man. It was crazy when you guys. I'm sure some of the viewers saw the live stream when you guys pulled off. That was ridiculous.
Yeah.
That was like one of those memorable moments when you're meeting all these people you've developed friendships with online for months. And then they're there. Especially, I remember one of our first conversations. Like, I really remember. Well, I was walking around Target with Sarah, and it was on Slack.
Oh yeah.
And I don't remember what we were talking about, but I remember saying something about you might be a girl or you're not a girl, and you were like, I might be a girl. Do you remember that?
I do.
And that's just crazy. That really just goes to show like how crazy this space is. Like things just like they morph into stuff, right? Mm. So, and speaking of that, like the technology morphing into what it is, what are your thoughts on, do you think the summit is, do you think it's going well? Do you think it's helpful for Litecoin and its growth?
Oh man, it's been a lot of work. It's a bunch of volunteers giving like 10 to 20 hours of their a week of their lives to this thing, and it was hard getting here, and you have no idea how meaningful it is for me to see like all these people fly in from different countries, and they're paying money and staying at hotels and stuff, and it's for Litecoin. And so like I was just really touched by that. Yeah. That there is a community out there who cares and are passionate, and they want to learn more about Litecoin. And so that was like a really cool experience.
Yeah. Have you caught a lot of the speakers that have been around? Or you've been doing a lot of running around, right?
I have been running nonstop, wrangling speakers to get them for their next speaking engagement. Yep. I haven't had a chance to like talk or see a lot of the talks. So, but I hope to as soon as this is over, I'm gonna go through the live stream.
Ton of video. Yeah. Who do you look up to in this space? Like, who are some of the leaders you look up to?
Yeah, I really admire Charlie and just his integrity and his authenticity. I think he's great, and his like vision. I think the fact that like he was so strategic about targeting exchanges before anything else. Yeah. Not even like protocol development, but like exchanges, getting liquidity to Litecoin that was money. Like you need to have so much foresight and strategy to know that I need to target exchanges before anything else. So I think he's just really smart, very strategic. I also like Jimmy Song. I think he does a great job of writing those articles, and he was one of the first people that like I wrote an article on the Lightning Network, and then I sent it to Jimmy, and I was like, hey, like, would you mind like reading this? And I was like a nobody. I had like 300 followers on Twitter, and he was like, yeah.
And you were a Snoop-a-tar probably.
I was a Snoop-a-tar. And he totally read it, gave me some awesome feedback, and that was like super meaningful for me, you know. You know, I also like admire Jameson Lobb. I think he's really cool. There's also like this dude named Kanjir. He worked with like I think like a derivative exchange, and he like helped form like the Bitcoin backend infrastructure. And he just builds and he just does work, and he's like, and you know, but there's just not a lot of drama. Like he doesn't like blast people or get into the crypto drama. He's just building, and so yeah, I would say those are some of the people that I kind of look up to.
Cool, man. Cool. Yeah, Charlie Lee he's like a genius marketer.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't he?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
And yesterday, I didn't want to call him a leader yesterday, but like that's why I used the word indirectly leading, because I just feel like, and I want to throw this out there, and I want to get your opinion.
Sure.
To see if you agree or disagree. I don't know. This summit, right? Like this is a ton of, like you just said, people from all over the world, people everywhere flying in, volunteers putting their hours in. Like that comes from obviously the technology itself, from a lot of people passionate about Litecoin, the technology, this decentralized cryptocurrency. But I just feel like a lot of it, and this is probably my personal experience, I was drawn to Litecoin not just because of technology, but also because of Charlie Lee.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's because he is doing a phenomenal job at just like getting a group of people. And I feel like he's trying to, you know, get these people together so that he can be hands off one day.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's his ultimate goal. And I think that that's kind of that indirect leadership that I think he's really, really good at.
Yeah. Yeah, Naomi Brockwell and I were talking backstage because she was the hostess for the summit, and she was like, you know, if you're going to have a creator of a Litecoin be known, like it might as well be Charlie Lee,
right?
Because he doesn't like actively seek the spotlight. Yeah. He doesn't say like crazy stuff. He's not always getting into drama. He just yeah, he's kind of laid back, chill, but still like strategic, and wants to build partnerships and stuff, and works for Litecoin for free. So I think that's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a leader, but he's not a leader.
Yeah, and I want to be one of those people that kind of takes stuff off his plate, right?
Yeah.
I think right now there's like a struggle of like looking to Litecoin Foundation or looking to Charlie like too much. I'm hoping to just keep growing and building, and so to just provide like a space for Litecoin that isn't necessarily part of the Litecoin Foundation, just so that there can be more decentralization.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, and I guess to wrap things up, I appreciate you taking some time. I know you're busy. What's big for you is getting developers, right?
Yeah.
Developer relationships. So, like, if there are developers out there right now, or people that are really intrigued by BlockFuse, what would you say?
Yeah, come build, man. Come join the community. We want to create a space for Litecoin developers, for Bitcoin developers, just to make it easy. And we're reaching out to a new demographic, to JavaScript developers. You don't have to be like a Bitcoin protocol expert to build. We remove all of that for you. So yeah. Also,
cool. Shout
Shout out to Samson now for these hats. I secretly joined the lighter side of the Dragon's Den. So come join us. Come join the revolution, baby.
I've been seeing these hats everywhere, so that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Join them. Join eCurrency Hodler.
Let's do it.
Andrew Yang. Thank you so much, man.
Thanks a lot.
Appreciate it. It's an honor. Appreciate you. Appreciate all of you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video, and God bless.